Good morning, students, and welcome back in a new lesson, that is Glimpses of India. This is the chapter number 7 in your NCERT book. At first, we will try to understand what is the meaning of glimpses. It means a quick view. Okay, in short, if you want to understand the title, its meaning a quick view of India. Okay, under this title, there are 3 stories. A Baker from Goa, which is written by Lucio Rodriguez. Second is Coorg. It is a name of place in Karnataka famous for coffee, and it is written by Lokesh Abrol. And the third is Tea from Assam, and it is written by Arup Kumar Datta. So in this first video, we are going to explain the lesson A Baker from Goa. Before starting this lesson, I would tell you what is the background of this lesson. Basically, this first part, A Baker from Goa, revolves around the tradition of Goan village. Actually, they use to make remind the days of Portuguese, when Portuguese used to live in India. They have left India, but there are some tradition they did not carried with them, means their traditions are also here. Now we will try to find out what kind of practices the Goan village are currently doing. There is a small introduction. This is a pen portrait of traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. Baker means a person who works in a bakery. Okay. Now we are going to start the first paragraph. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days, the Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those enters of loaves might have vanished. Just a minute, font is too small. Yes, those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those old age time tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces have not been yet extinguished. The third and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as Padirs. Now we will try to understand the meanings of some words. There is a word Padir. It is a local word. It means a baker who used to go in different villages to sell his product. Heralding means to announce. Okay, and there are another words. Look at this one, reminiscing nostalgically. Okay, it means to think about our past. Okay, a person who likes to think about his past. And there is another word, loaves. Let me show you a picture of. Yes, these are called loaves, means the pieces of bread. Okay, then the next word is mixer, means which is used to mix the things. Okay, and molders. Molders means it was there were some shapes into it. The bakers used to fill them. After that, the products may be ready. Okay, means these were just shapes. Now we will try to understand this paragraph. the narrator of the story says that our elders always used to think about the past when Portuguese used to live in India, and the Portuguese was famous for loaves of bread. Loaves, I think I have already shown you the pieces of bread. Okay, and this time he is also saying that the eaters of loaves, means the eaters of bread, the people who used to eat the bread, might have vanished. Vanished means disappeared. Means these people who used to eat it, they have lost, or they have vanished, or they have died. But the makers are still here. The person who used to make these breads, they are still alive. Okay, now next one, we still have amongst us the mixers. We have mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Okay, means there are still these machines or these furnaces which make us which reminds the people of Goa that there was Portuguese who was very famous for bread loaves. Those old age time tested furnaces are also here. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished, means the work of bakery is still being done in this area. The third and jingle, try to understand this one. The third and jingle. Third means the tapping sound of a stick on the ground. When we tap a stick on the ground, its sound is called third. And the second one, jingle. You have already studied in your previous classes that it is the sound of bells. Means he used to have a stick in his hand. A baker used to have a stick in his hand, and on which at the top of it there was a bell. Okay, the third and jingle sound of that stick of the traditional baker's bamboo, which used to announce in the morning, and it can be heard from anywhere. Okay, maybe their fathers are not alive, means the father of these bakers are not alive these days, but their sons are still carrying their business, still carrying their ancestors' business. These bakers are even today are known as Pader. Okay, Pader. Okay, now next one we will try to understand the second one. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. Once, when he set out in the morning on his selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. The jingle thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of loaf? Not at all. The loaves were brought by some Paskin and Bastine, the maidservant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles which we choose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. There are some words we have already discussed, the jingle third and bread bangles. Now I am going to show you what are bread bangles. Yes, you can see this is, or these are the bread bangles for which the children of the houses used to come out after hearing the sound of the jingle third. Now we will try to understand it. In the first paragraph we have studied that the bakers are still alive means their sons are carrying their business in Goa. Okay, and their furnaces, their molders, and their mixers are still there. Means the business of bakery is still going on in Goan village. Now, in this one, the narrator is reminding the days when he was a child. He recalls that baker acted as their friend and companion during their childhood days. The baker used to visit their village twice a day. At first, he used to come there in the morning while he was set up for selling his loaves, and second time he used to come in that village after emptying his basket. It was the sound of bamboo. Third, so all the human beings, all the children used to get up from the sleep and they used to move towards the loafer, or we can say towards the bread seller. The children used to become very excited to meet him because at the evening time that was not the bread loaves by which they used to attract. They only used to attract with the bread bangles. Okay, because there were their servants like Paskin and Bastine, they were maid servant, they used to sell the bread loaves, but the children were very much excited about the bread bangles. That is why they usually go to meet to the person in the evening time. Now next one, the baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jang jang sound of his specially made bamboo stuff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with the mild rebuke and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or a parapet and peep into the basket somehow. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And why should we? We would take the trouble who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush. And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything. Just a minute. Everything so nicely after all. Now, in these lines, the narrator want to say that the baker often used to make a musical entry with his bamboo stick. He used to make the sound of jang jang, as you can see here. His one hand was one hand supported the basket, means with his one hand he used to carry the basket, while the other hand he has a bamboo and he used to bang that bamboo on the ground, and that makes the sound of jang jang. He would go houses to houses and greet the ladies of the houses by telling good morning, and they used to hand over the loaves to the servants of the house. The parents would scold. There is a word rebuke. Okay, rebuke means to scold actually. Okay, there you can see. So their parents used to scold their children while while the children try to go near to the baker. But the children was very eager and very curious about that. Okay, very curious about the fragrance of these loaves. Basically, for the elders there was bread loaves, and for the children there was bread bangles, as I have already told you. And after that, they did not even bother to brush their teeth, because they thinks that if they will have to do the brushing, they will have to go to the mango tree. Means in these days they doesn't use the toothbrush like us, toothpaste or toothbrush. They used to take the mango leaves for brushing their teeth. So that is why they used to say that they did not go to the mango trees, because they have a simple thought in their mind that it is not necessary at all, because a tiger never brushed in his life, and he has also an excuse that hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. There are some comprehension check question answers. We will discuss about them later. Now next one, the next paragraph. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolinhas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnaces in the village is absolutely essential. In this paragraph, the narrator want to say that the breads were a very important, even today also, it is an important part of the Goan culture. As you can see, the bowl is a name of sweet. The marriages were meaningless without that sweet. Okay, and the second thing, the parties, feast or the parties loses its charm if there is not any bread or bread loaves. Okay, and in the daughter's engagement, the mother used to make the sandwiches, and in the Christmas, for the time of Christmas and other festivals, cakes and bolinhas were must. So it shows that the presence of these furnaces, these bakers' furnaces, is absolutely essential for everyone. Now, next one. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kavai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padir. The bakers were known to have worn unique knee-length frock dresses. Typically, these dresses was known as kabai. In the narrator's childhood days, he had seen them wearing shirts and pants whose length was shorter than the usual ones. It was a part of their identity. Now, next one. It was the part of their identity. The narrator is telling one more thing, that even today, if anyone wears like a half pant, okay, and which reaches just below his knees. That person invites the comment that he is dressed like a padir. Means people used to tell him that he is looking like a padir. Now next one, and I think this is the last one. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in old days. The baker and his family never starved. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plum physique was an often testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. Just a minute. So what happens? The bakers usually collect their bills at the end of the month, and they used to record their bills on the wall with the help of a pencil. Now you can think that how innocent and how truthful these people were those days, because their monthly records was used to be written on a wall and no one used to erase it. Okay, means that the people of that time was very much sincere and truthful. And baking that time, in older days, the baking was very profitable business, and the baker's family was never used to die with the hunger, means starvation. His family, he and his servant always looks very prosperous. Prosperous means luxurious life. Their plump means pleasantly fat body, okay, was an open testimony to this. Open testimony means public statement about a character or quality. Means everyone can think about that. If a person is with plump physique, means that he would be a baker. Even today, if any person has like a jackfruit like physical, okay, jackfruit like means a person who is very we can say with large tummy, okay, and who is very fat. If any person has a physique like this, he would easily be compared with a baker. That was the lesson we have completed today, and there are some questions like these ones. The first question is, what are the elders in Goa nostalgic about? We have studied that the elders of Goa were nostalgic about the old Portuguese days. The second question is bread making still popular in Goa? How do you know? Yes, bread making is still popular in Goa. In the previous paragraphs, it was given that their elders, the people have died, but their sons are still there, their furnaces are still there. Now next one, what is a baker called? The is basically called a padesh. Now question number 4, when would the baker come every day? Why did the children run to meet him? We have studied that the baker used to come twice a day, at first in the morning while he set up for the selling, and in the evening time when his basket was empty. And the second question, the second part of it, that why did the children run to meet him? The children run to meet him because in the evening time he used to have some bread bangles for the children. Now next one, there are some other questions. Yes, this one. As marriage gift. So what was marriage gift? Marriage gift were sweet bread called bole. The second one. Okay, the second one, for a party or a feast, the bread was very essential. And the third one, for a daughter's engagement, that was sandwich. And the last one, for Christmas, cakes and Paulinhas. Now the next question, question number 2. What did the bakers wear in the Portuguese days when the author was young? Means there were two stories in this one. First one is about the Portuguese days, and second one is the current days while the writer is writing the story. In Portuguese days, the baker wore a unique knee-length frock dress, typically known as kabai. Okay, but in narrator's childhood days, he had seen them wearing shirts and shorter than usual pants. Now next question, who invites the comment, he is dressed like a padeir? Why? If someone wears a shirt and a pant which is near to the knees, okay, that person invites the comment that he is looking like a padeir. Now question number 4, where were the monthly accounts of the baker recorded? The monthly account of the bakers used to be recorded on the wall with the pencil. Now the last question, what does a jackfruit like appearance means? Jackfruit like appearance means a person who has a plump physique, a person who is fat. Okay, now this was the first part of the story, and in the next video we will try to understand the second part, and that is Coorg. Okay, this is also going to be an interesting one. Now I am going to summarize this lesson quickly. This lesson begins with how narrators' elders often recall the time when Goa was under the rule of Portuguese. They talk the importance of bakers is still maintained in their village even after the Portuguese have left. They are known as padeir in Goa, the mixers, molders, and their time-tested furnaces continue serve the people of Goa with their famous bread loaves. It is possible that the original people have died, but their sons are still continuing their business. The third and jangling sound of the bamboo used to announce that he has come in the village, and this sound in even today can be heard in some villages. The same jingling third sound would wake the narrator and his friends during his childhood days, who would go running to him without brushing or washing their mouth properly. It was their maid servants who used to collect the bread loaves, but the narrator and his friend, the children of their houses, were very much fond of the bread bangles. Bakery products have importance in culture and tradition of Goa also. Bole, it is a name of sweet. Okay, bole is a name of sweet, and it is a marriage gift even today in Goa. Cakes and Paulinhas are eaten in every festival, especially at the time of Christmas, and the lady of the house prepares sandwiches at the home for her daughter's engagement. In earlier time, bakers used to wear a frock of knee length, which was known as kabai. During the narrator's childhood days, they only wore a shirt and trouser of strength slightly shorter than the usual ones. They generally collect their bills at the end of every month, which was written on the wall. Bakery has continued to be profitable business, and they used to live a prosperous life. That is the short summary of the lesson.